Some songs become hits. Some become number one. But a rare few do something far more remarkable. They outlive the people who recorded them. They stop belonging to the charts and start belonging to the movies. One perfect scene, one unforgettable moment, and suddenly a song released 50 years ago feels immortal. These artists never had another hit that came close. Hollywood never cared, because it only needed that one. These are 10 forgotten songs from the 1970s that Hollywood has never stopped using. A great director knows something most people never think about. Sometimes the music tells the story before the actors do. A single song can make you laugh, break your heart, or make an ordinary scene unforgettable. Every song on this list did exactly that. Not because they kept topping the charts, because Hollywood kept giving them a second life. And in one case, a single director changed what a song would mean forever. Number 10. Most songs that sell 20 million copies sound expensive. This one sounds like a few friends having fun. In the Summertime was recorded in a single day. There wasn't even a proper drummer. Ray Dorset kept time by tapping his foot on the studio floor. That simple foot tap became one of the most recognizable rhythms in pop history. Released in 1970, the song exploded across Europe and eventually sold an estimated 20 to 30 million copies worldwide. Nobody expected it. There was no massive marketing campaign. People simply heard it and played it again. Then Hollywood discovered something even more valuable. The song doesn't remind you of summer. It feels like summer. The windows are down. The sun is out. For 3 minutes, life becomes wonderfully uncomplicated. That's why filmmakers have returned to it for more than 50 years. Need a scene that instantly feels warm, carefree, and alive? Just press play. Mungo Jerry kept recording throughout the 1970s. Dorset wrote new material, and the band had modest follow-up success in Britain. But nothing they made afterward came close to the scale of that one summer afternoon in a studio where nobody thought to bring a proper drummer. Its emotional signature is extraordinarily specific. It doesn't suggest summer. It is summer. Any scene where a director needs the audience to feel warmth, freedom, and the particular lightness of a long day with nowhere to be. In the Summertime has been a go-to choice for 5 decades. All because the best rhythm section they ever had was the sole of a shoe. Our next hit almost never made the record. It was thrown onto the B-side at the last minute, 11 million copies later. Hollywood was still laughing. Number 9. In the early 1970s, Bruce Lee changed movies forever. Enter the Dragon turned martial arts into a worldwide phenomenon, and suddenly everyone wanted a piece of the craze, including the music industry. Carl Douglas had come to the studio that day to record a completely different song. That was supposed to be the hit, but there was one problem. Every single needed a B-side. Douglas suggested a quick song inspired by the kung fu films everyone was talking about. Nobody expected much. Producer Bidu treated it almost like a joke. The famous vocal effects, the exaggerated style, even the recording session itself reportedly took only about 10 minutes. That throwaway B-side sold more than 11 million copies. It reached number 1 on both sides of the Atlantic and instantly became part of pop culture. The success was also impossible to escape. Douglas tried releasing another kung fu song. People ignored it. The audience wanted the original, nothing else. Hollywood, however, discovered something far more useful. The song became a shortcut. The moment those opening horns play, you already know what's coming. A fight, a joke, or both. Rush Hour, Beverly Hills Ninja, Kung Pao. Decades apart, the same song keeps doing the same job. Very few records become their own genre. This one did. And it all happened because nobody believed the B-side mattered. Our next song almost disappeared after reaching the charts. 40 years later, one Marvel movie gave it a second life. Number 8. Before anyone sings a word, you already know this song. That opening groove does all the work. Warm, confident, impossible not to move to. But in 1974, the music industry had a problem. Nobody knew where Redbone belonged. The band, founded by brothers Pat and Lolly Vegas, blended rock, funk, soul, and Native American influences into a sound that didn't fit any radio format. Stations liked the song. They just didn't know where to file it. The audience solved that problem for them. Come and Get Your Love climbed to number 5 on the Billboard Hot 100 anyway. For a moment, Redbone seemed unstoppable, but lightning never struck twice. The years passed. The song slowly faded from mainstream radio. It looked like its story was over. It wasn't. In 2014, director James Gunn opened Guardians of the Galaxy with a choice almost nobody expected. Not an orchestra, not an epic superhero score, a 40-year-old funk song. Peter Quill dances across an alien planet, completely alone, completely carefree. In less than a minute, the audience understands exactly who he is. Funny, reckless, optimistic. The scene became one of the most memorable movie openings of the decade. Streaming numbers exploded. Millions of people discovered Redbone for the very first time. Not because of the radio, because one director trusted an old song to introduce an entirely new universe. Some hits belong to their own generation. The great ones simply wait for the next. Our next song wasn't inspired by success, it was inspired by an insult shouted from the crowd. Number 7. Sometimes your biggest hit begins with an insult. Wild Cherry wasn't a funk band, they were a straight-ahead rock band from Pittsburgh. Loud guitars, heavy riffs, that's the music they wanted to play. But one night, while the band was struggling to win over the crowd, someone shouted from the audience, "Play some funky music, white boy." Most musicians would have ignored it. Lead singer Rob Parisi didn't. He took the words home. By the next morning, they had become a song, almost line for line. Released in 1976, Play That Funky Music shot to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became one of the defining records of the decade. It was also impossible to escape. The audience wanted more funk. The band wanted to keep playing rock. Those two worlds never met again. Wild Cherry released more music, but nothing came close. Hollywood, on the other hand, knew exactly what it had. Directors don't always need dialogue to tell you where you are. Sometimes 4 seconds of music does the job. The opening groove of Play That Funky Music instantly says one thing: the 1970s. Whether it's a comedy, a period drama, or a nostalgic montage, the song gets there before the costumes do. Very few records become a time machine. This one did. And it all started because one guy in the audience couldn't keep his mouth shut. Our next song came from one of the darkest moments imaginable. Somehow, it became one of the happiest songs Hollywood has ever used. Number 6. If you judged this song by the way it sounds, you'd never guess how it began. Dancing in the Moonlight wasn't born from happiness, it was born from violence. While visiting St. Croix, songwriter Sherman Kelly was attacked by a gang and left badly beaten on a beach. The experience stayed with him. But instead of writing about fear, he imagined its opposite, a place where everyone felt safe, where strangers smiled at each other, where music drifted through the night, and nobody wanted the evening to end. That imaginary place became a song, King Harvest recorded it with little expectation. But slowly on radio it found its audience. It reached the top 20 on the Billboard Hot 100 and became one of the most recognizable sounds of the early 1970s. King Harvest kept recording through the decade, but never approached this level again. Hollywood found a very specific use for Dancing in the Moonlight that no other song quite replicates. It suggests a particular kind of collective joy. A group of people together at night, in the open air, in a world where nothing bad is happening. That sensation is almost impossible to manufacture with original music. So, directors borrowed Kelly's imaginary place instead. The song has appeared in romantic comedies, coming-of-age films, and television series set across multiple different eras, always in the same kind of scene, always delivering the same feeling. All because the happiest sounds are sometimes born in the darkest moments. Our next song crossed the Atlantic from a country almost nobody expected. Then it conquered America. Twice. Number 5. Breaking into the American music market was hard. Breaking into it from the Netherlands was almost impossible. Yet, somehow, Shocking Blue did exactly that. When Venus arrived in 1970, American radio was dominated by British and American artists. Few expected a Dutch rock band to compete. Fewer still expected them to reach number 1. But Venus didn't sound foreign. It sounded inevitable. The guitar riff demanded attention. Then came the voice. Mariska Veras didn't just sing the song, she owned it. Powerful, confident, unmistakable. Within seconds, listeners knew exactly what they were hearing. Venus raced to the top of the Billboard Hot 100 and sold more than 1 million copies. For a brief moment, Shocking Blue had conquered America. They continued recording throughout the 1970s and remained successful across Europe. Internationally, though, nothing ever matched Venus. That should have been the end of the story. It wasn't. In 1986, British pop group Bananarama released a new version. Once again, Venus climbed all the way to number 1 in the United States. The same melody, the same hook, a completely different generation. Hollywood loved both versions. Whenever directors needed instant confidence, glamour, or larger-than-life charisma, Venus was waiting. Some songs survive changing musical trends. Very few survive changing generations. Venus conquered both. Our next artist didn't just score a hit, he gave Hollywood the perfect soundtrack for one of the most powerful moments any character can experience. The moment everything finally becomes clear. Number 4. Every great movie has one moment. The moment the hero finally understands. The fear is gone. The doubts disappear. For the first time, they can actually see the way forward. For more than 50 years, Hollywood has had the perfect song for that moment. Before reggae conquered the world, Johnny Nash was already listening. During the late 1960s, he spent months in Jamaica, where a new sound was beginning to take shape. Most American audiences had never heard anything quite like it. Nash believed they would. In 1972, he released I Can See Clearly Now. It spent 4 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. The melody felt effortless, the rhythm felt different, and the lyrics were something everyone understood immediately. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Simple, hopeful, universal. Johnny Nash continued making music for decades. He had other successful songs, but none ever reached the same cultural impact, because this one had escaped the radio. Hollywood had found its emotional shortcut. Whenever a character finally breaks through, finds hope, or discovers that the impossible might actually be possible, This song feels like it was written specifically for that scene. One of its most memorable appearances came in Cool Runnings. The music doesn't just celebrate victory, it celebrates belief. That's why directors keep coming back to it. The song says exactly what the characters are feeling. Before they ever have to say it themselves, some songs tell a story. This one tells the audience, everything is about to be okay. Our next band recorded what seemed like a simple pop song. Hollywood heard something completely different, the sound of believing in miracles. Number 3. Some songs make you smile. Some songs make you dance. Magic makes you believe. Pilot wasn't a superstar band. They were 4 musicians from Scotland hoping to write a great pop record. Nothing more, nothing less. What they did have was an extraordinary producer. Alan Parsons had already helped shape albums like Abbey Road and The Dark Side of the Moon. He understood something most producers didn't. Sometimes, less is more. Instead of burying the melody beneath layers of production, he gave it room to breathe. The result felt effortless, almost weightless. Released in 1974, Magic climbed into the top 5 in the United States and reached number 1 in Canada. Pilot enjoyed modest success afterward, but they never came close to creating another song with the same emotional pull. Because Magic wasn't just catchy, it created a feeling, hope, optimism. That strange moment when you begin believing the impossible might actually happen. Hollywood recognized it immediately. Listen carefully to where this song appears. It's rarely played after someone wins, it's played just before. When the underdog gets one last chance. When confidence replaces doubt. When everything is hanging by a thread. Happy Gilmore understood that perfectly. The song appears not once, but twice. Nearly 30 years later, Happy Gilmore 2 brought it back again. Different audience, different generation, exactly the same emotion. Since then, Magic has quietly appeared in dozens of films and television shows. Not because directors wanted another hit from the 1970s, because they wanted the audience to believe. For just a few minutes, that impossible things sometimes happen. Our next band became one of the biggest sensations in America almost overnight. A year later, the backlash had already begun. Number 2. Few songs explode faster than My Sharona did. Before Doug Fieger even opened his mouth, that guitar riff had already done its job. Aggressive, energetic, impossible to ignore. Released in 1979, My Sharona spent 6 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. It became one of the biggest selling singles of the year. The Knack weren't just successful, they were the hottest new band in America. Then, the music industry made a mistake the band could never escape. Record executives and magazines began calling them the next Beatles. It sounded like the ultimate compliment. It wasn't. No band could live up to that comparison. The expectations became impossible. The critics who had celebrated them suddenly turned against them. Almost overnight, the excitement became a backlash. The Knack kept recording. They kept touring. But the moment had passed. The band faded. The song didn't. 15 years later, director Ben Stiller heard something that everyone else had forgotten. Not nostalgia, energy. Pure, infectious energy. In Reality Bites, a group of friends wanders through a convenience store. Then, My Sharona comes on. Without warning, they start dancing. It's spontaneous, joyful, completely unforced. The scene became one of the most memorable moments of the film. Suddenly, an entire new generation knew the song. That's the strange thing about great music. Sometimes it only needs one perfect scene to become timeless all over again. The Knack never escaped the shadow of their biggest hit. Hollywood made sure the song never had to. And now, number 1. A cheerful pop song, a brutal movie scene, and one decision that changed film history forever. Number 1. Some songs become famous twice. This one became something else entirely. When Stealers Wheel released Stuck in the Middle with You in 1972, it wasn't meant to shock anyone. Quite the opposite. Jerry Rafferty and Joe Egan had written it as a witty satire about the music business, about feeling stuck in a room full of people you didn't belong with. It was clever, catchy, almost playful. The song reached the top 10 in America, then slowly settled into the category of classic old hit for nearly 20 years. That's all it was. Then Quentin Tarantino picked up the phone. While writing Reservoir Dogs, he already knew exactly which song he wanted. Not after the scene. Before it. The music came first. Everything else was built around it. When the film reaches its most disturbing moment, there's no dramatic orchestra, no pounding drums, just a cheerful pop song playing on the radio. Mr. Blonde dances. He smiles. He moves almost casually across the warehouse floor. The music acts as if nothing terrible is happening. That's exactly what makes the scene unforgettable. Tarantino understood something that filmmakers had rarely used so deliberately before. The most disturbing music isn't always disturbing. Sometimes the real tension comes from the contradiction. Your ears tell you to relax. Your eyes tell you to look away. Your brain can't do both. That emotional conflict is what stays with you. After Reservoir Dogs, countless filmmakers borrowed the technique. Upbeat songs during violent scenes, happy music in terrifying moments. The contrast became one of the defining cinematic styles of the 1990s and beyond. Stealers Wheel never had another hit on this level. They didn't need one, because one unforgettable movie scene transformed their biggest song into something entirely new. Today, it's almost impossible to hear those opening guitar chords without seeing Michael Madsen dancing through that warehouse. That's the power of the perfect needle drop. It doesn't just change the scene, it changes the song forever. 10 songs. 10 stories Hollywood never tells when the music starts. In the Summertime was held together by a foot on a studio floor and became cinema's definition of summer. Kung Fu Fighting was a throwaway B-side that became the sound of every martial arts joke Hollywood ever made. Come and Get Your Love waited 40 years for one scene in a Marvel film to give it to a new generation. Play That Funky Music was written overnight after a taunt and became Hollywood's shorthand for the entire 1970s. Dancing in the Moonlight was born from a violent attack and became the sound of every perfect night on screen. Venus conquered America from the Netherlands and then did it again 16 years later with a different band. I Can See Clearly Now gave Hollywood the perfect song for every moment a character finally sees the way forward. Magic made audiences believe the impossible was about to happen, and Adam Sandler kept using it for 30 years. My Sharona ended a decade, survived a backlash, and came back to life in a convenience store scene that nobody saw coming. And Stuck in the Middle with You was a cheerful song about a party, until Tarantino proved that the right song in the wrong place is sometimes the most powerful thing a director can put on screen. These weren't just hits, they were moments preserved in 3 minutes of vinyl, and Hollywood knew exactly what to do with them. Which scene do you remember most? Leave it in the comments, and we'll see you in the next one.